Hi. So I thought I'll make a little video and just share my own little story and some of the wins I've had over the last few months. And mainly, I just wanted to say that getting Yumeiho therapy and massages literally changed my life. And I had no idea that this would happen, like never. Like literally for a very long time, I would hear of massages, and the first thing or the first idea or image I would get is what I've seen in like movies. Like, yeah, like I don't want that. It's not my thing. I don't want people to touch me because of personal reasons and everything else. And I pretty much like never considered getting one, never was interested, but life happened where one, my mentor, or like just Kimberly McGeorge, the person I work with, she's amazing. She said, like, I need to learn self-love. And one of the things and one of the steps in my journey was to get more physical contact with people. And like I was doing that, but a little bit, I never thought like, yeah, right. Like I ain't getting that far. Like I couldn't see myself uh getting physical contact with people, with any stranger at all. Like I'm not letting them close. But another thing is just life happened. I was working out and oopsie, I injured myself. So there was that. And basically I just had to get some help. And even though like I'm avoiding doctors, I was like, okay, I just need to find someone that could help me out and wouldn't be in the circle that I might not like or approve of. So I found this like alternative health place. They're all into holistic stuff and acupunctures, massages, and everything else. Like they're qualified, they've studied for like over 30 years and everything else. So like of course, like from their perspective, like they've been to that medical education, but at the same time they looked for more than what is being presented in the normal system. And I just got my first massage, first Yumeiho therapy. Basically, it's like a physical therapy, physical stretches you do, but the way the technique like works is that Yumeiho considers that no one is perfect and each body is like individual and it needs individual adjustment. It doesn't have to go into this is the perfect body and we're gonna make you into that perfect body. We're gonna work with what you have and just like give you the best shape possible, so to speak. So with that, I didn't expect anything. I had lower back pain from my stupid workout injury. Like stupid. Like I've literally just been doing like crunches or crunches, sit-ups on the bench, and it was done the wrong way, like the old USSR way. But this is just what they taught us at school, so like I was just going with that. Anyway, like do it long enough, wrong way, and you're gonna end up with a back injury. So like I stopped with that. But I basically got this physical therapy done, and the first time I left, I was like, oh wow, like that went away super fast. And like the guy like recommend like, hey, you should come just for a second time to make sure everything sort of stays in place. And I went there to fix my back injury. It wasn't just a big injury, just like I don't know, like overdoing it, and like oh, like it just hurts a little bit, but not too bad. But still, like, it got in the way of my daily life. So anyway, the second time, the third time, I started liking it because it felt like my body was being rebuilt. Like every time I would get on this mat and I would get this physical therapy, my body would feel like it's being sort of, I don't know, like uh disassembled and then assembled again. Like like it's just like, oh wow, like it feels like they're putting me back anew. Like that's the feeling I had. And that's sort of exactly what was happening in a way, because even while the guy was working on my school, like my lower back, I was actually getting a lot of work for scoliosis. And it wasn't too bad, but you could definitely see my back going, like getting this like really bad like thing. My shoulders weren't even like, it was more like that. My hips were like that. Like, so like I was like just a weird body thing. And yeah, it's basically now has been 5 months. I've got massive results in about like eight visits to that place. But right now, like I'm just doing it for self-love. Like it's just like one way to award myself. Like I'm doing it once a week. And like I had no idea how many things can happen in a good way. As in my self-confidence got bigger, my self-love got bigger. It's not like, oh, look, my body's looking better, I'm awesome, and I'm loving myself in that way. But just to know that every comment I've heard from my parents and people around me, even if it wasn't like a word or a phrase, it was just a look, and dissatisfaction, or you would walk and in the background you'd hear a conversation about you. It's like it built up. It built up like as a pressure of how I should be, how I wasn't perfect, how I wasn't fitting in their reality and everything else. And for me, it was just the case. I was carrying like a little hate for myself, or just not liking myself as much, and going to them like that's massage therapist, like physical therapist, he's like pretty good at everything. And like the work I got done on myself, and the compliments I've got, like, oh my God, like you look straight as can be. And right now when I'm laying on a table or on the mat, there's basically all the pressure points and trigger points and everything else that was building up throughout the years. Now there's basically nothing to do with me because my body got so much better. So I'm gonna look for some photos of the old me before I ever went there, and maybe make some photos like right now with how my body changed, because like I'm just amazed. The doctor said to me like, hey, like go swimming or just hang on this bar, and you're gonna be good, but it'll take a lot of time, and we still like don't know if it's ever gonna happen. So like, like it was just tips, and even though I would try, and then my family couldn't afford it, so I couldn't do it. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna live with scoliosis and whatever. I'm just gonna deal with it. And so massages, physical therapy changed it, like literally, like really fast, and it's still a little bit unbelievable, but I'm just like so amazed. So my physical body's doing better, and I got a lot of self-awareness. It's just like crazy. Like I used to live in a way where everything that was wrong with me became normal. The pains and aches became normal. It wasn't even the pain anymore. It was just like the way that my body is supposed to be. Oh, it's kind of like it's tight and it hurts. Well, that's normal. So that became my everyday life. Like I just thought, oh, that's the way the body should be. And it's not. Like now I'm like, I was working with learning how to walk again consciously, not like, well, I was walking like a robot, like really not moving much, but I learned that I have to move my waist and my shoulders and like the whole different way. I'm learning to breathe and work with my diaphragm. Like I never considered it. I watched some breathing techniques. I watched Wim Hof. It's like a lot of great stuff, but like I'm learning to work with my diaphragm, with different exercises for breathing, and like all the spasms in the rib cage are gone, like where the diaphragm is supposed to be. So like my fingers can literally go under the rib cage, and that's like really good. And then like I used to like sit wrong, like the way I left to sit, there's literally my dog's behind me, but basically I get in my chair and my knees are like that right here, and I can sit like this all day long, and I love it, and it's so comfortable. But sitting like this for years like literally shortens some of your muscles or ligaments, and it like really harms your body. So like I'm like, oh fuck, I wasn't supposed to do that. So like I'm learning to sit as a normal person should sit. I'm learning like, oh wow, like I feel like I can sit and do stuff, and it doesn't take long until I feel some of the pressures or something, like, oh, like that's not good. So just stand up, do a little stretch, boom, gone. So like I'm learning to take care of my body, to listen and to act accordingly so that I could help myself. And I'm just like really glad I found this thing, because my physical body's changing. I have more awareness, and learning this thing, like I know, like I've been talking to Kimberly, and one of the things she said is like, you're pretty much like never in your physical body, like getting out of body, or like your attention and awareness is here, but you're out most of the time. And I'm like, I didn't understand what she was saying until recently. I'm like, oh my God, my whole life I've been living with, I couldn't understand my body. I wasn't listening to it. I wasn't aware, or I was just here to engage with people verbally, to respond in some way, to not be a robot. But my consciousness would get out so fast, and I wouldn't be here most of the time. And now I'm like, oh wow, look at me. I am aware of my body, of how I feel, of every single spot. And I'm learning to exercise or move or stretch accordingly so that I could help myself. And it really means a lot to me, like just because of my history and how I grew up and what I've been through. So for me it's big. Like specifically hearing that, like I have scoliosis and it's not going to change, and I was going to live that way, and then tons of people are going to comment about how I am and what's going to like happen to me later. So like a lot of those fears and stuff just went away really fast. And then all this, like what I'm doing to myself, how I'm living, I think like my love for myself is growing. Not like, oh my God, I love myself, but like I'm happy with myself. I used to hate myself. I used to hit myself, and it used to be a really bad case. Like I just like grew up with that programming where I'm guilty all the time. And when I would do something bad, I would just really bash my head real hard, and like I would leave myself like pretty good bumps and stuff, or hit the wall. And like I just know, like I just had to punish myself for various things that other people program me with, me being bad or worse than all right and stuff like that. So like learning that, like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, and I don't have to punish myself. I just have to take care of myself. Like learning this means a lot. So I don't know, like I don't know how many people are there who have back issues and spine problems, but like this Yumeiho therapy and massages really helped me out. And of course, like you need to find the right person. Like not everyone works, not everyone will do it out of the passion just because they love the thing. But I think like finding someone who can help you out in this physical therapy and Yumeiho, like that's what really helped me out. So my body is doing way better than it ever did. And I don't know, like I'm just like super happy. And specifically, like a few more things I'll add is that somewhere in the Yumeiho therapy and massages, you get to work on your meridians and chakras and certain points where your body gets stabilized. Like literally, it was like an overnight change where I used to need this, having this after sessions and everything, where food would be the thing that would do it for me. And I would just like, I would eat like more than usual for what it was to me. Like when I was a kid, like 2 to 3 times a day. And then the last few years was like twice a day, but still like pretty good portions, like pretty big for myself. So now it was like literally after the first massage and like that little, just like the stomach squeezing or like certain points and stuff, I was amazed my appetite got so much smaller, and I didn't feel that craving anymore. So for me to switch into not eating and losing weight and still feeling great, not like I'm starving or fasting so much, but I just don't crave for the food like I used to. It's like people try to get their stomach smaller and everything else. So for me to start at intermittent fasting, I think that's what it's called, it was like so easy. It was just like amazing. So my diet changed. I used to like, for a while, I really loved exercising and it really helped me. And then I quit because life got in the way and I just got lazy. And, you know, like, God, like, what's the excuse? Like, yeah, I'm just like lazy. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving it priority. So I would like use any kind of excuse to not do it. And literally right now, being able to listen to my body, I just feel the need. Like I need to work out. Like my body wants to do it. And I'm just like listening to my body. So like, okay, like, oh, it's so hard. Like I'm just gonna give myself 30 minutes, an hour and longer to do that work. And then my body craves for some, finally, you know, like fruits and veggies instead of like, oh, let's get some carbos. Like, you know, like I love pasta, but oh boy, you know, like it's fine. Like I'm really glad my body is able to change, and you know, like it's no longer the mind and the discipline and like really trying to push it. It's becoming natural. So I don't know, like lots of positive changes. And I feel like the massages and Yumeiho therapy really changed it for me. Like it was the thing that the whole mindset, the body, the lifestyle, everything changed. Like I'm just like happier overall, which is like weird, but you know, like not getting triggered as much, reacting much calmer. The whole nervous system doesn't seem like to be on steroids anymore. So like anyway, like it feels like right now, today, like I had another therapy before the guy takes off for a few weeks, and it really felt like a drug. Some people get drugs and they get high and they feel like this bliss for a while. So for me, it's like lasting for quite a long time. Like I'm just like relaxed and cheerful and peaceful and stretchy and everything else. Like, so I'm amazed. I'm amazed with the changes I got. And I don't know, maybe for those who might have the same mindset or look at the massages where it's what you see in the movies or like whatever, hear weird stories about, like if you find the right person who can help you out, I think this can really be life-changing. So anyway, this is just my experience with it. Yumeiho therapy and manual therapy and other massages. Like I got like lots of combinations, but Yumeiho therapy was the one. I'm always doing it. It's like on mat, physical stretches and stuff like that. It's amazing. So if anyone wants to try it out, please look it up online. Maybe you'll find something close to you. And yeah, this is just my little story. So that'll be it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.